Hi Capricorn, here we are with your higher octave reading. This is for the period of August 26 to September 9. There's the death card at the bottom of the deck. That would indicate to me that you're in a pretty major transformation in your life right now. And the feeling I get from the previous reading, but also from these cards, is that it's something that you want to do willingly. I get the feeling like you've arrived at your life, you've arrived at a time in your life now where you kind of have, the words rock bottom just came into my mind, and that might be applicable for some of you, but I think for some of you, maybe you have reached a point where you have kind of hit rock bottom. For some of you, simply just reached a point where you are eager to learn more, you're eager to change your life, you're eager to have a much greater quality of life. And this is a time where you are kind of taking the bull by the horns. As you have with the Chariot card in the previous reading, it says to me that you are kind of looking to kind of dig deep within yourself to find the energy to kind of drive forward with your willpower to strive for some greater quality of life for yourself. So we'll get into the cards here one by one. I want to start here this time at the foundation of the reading, because you have here the Six of Crystals, which is the Six of Wands in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. And in this card, in this deck, it's called Confusion. And interestingly, you had the Ace of Swords in the reverse position in the previous reading, and it's kind of a similar feeling. It's like mind energy, like a lot of air, a lot of swords, there's quite a few swords in this spread, as there was in the first reading. And being that the Confusion card is at the foundation of the reading, this is a position of your unconscious mind, or what's hidden, or what you're not aware of. But I feel like it's suggesting, since the whole reading is sort of pivoting on this one card, it's suggesting to me that your lack of clarity or your uncertainty in your life is actually the motivating force for you to move forward into something bigger, something better. And at the center of the reading, you have this card called the Six of Wands in this deck is called Trust. And it's crossed by the Five of Crystals in this deck is called Negativity. So that's the sort of central theme of the reading. Your energy, the main theme of the reading, and the challenge. The crossing card is your challenge, which is kind of a guidepost for the direction you need to go. And what this says to me, having the Five of Crystals as your crossing card, is that your challenge is to overcome internal conflict and lack of clarity within, to use that as a kind of, like I said, a roadmap or the driving force for you to kind of point you in the direction that you need to go, which is the desire to have more clarity and the desire to have a better quality of life. Now, as I said in the previous reading, there was that Ten of Cups here in the position of recent past, or where you're coming from. And as I mentioned, for some of you, that may mean that you are choosing to leave your relationship, or you are wanting to move on from the home that you're living in because you're not feeling as happy or as content there as you once were. Now in this spread, you have two more tens here. They're both in the position of your outcome cards. I'll get to that in a minute, but I just wanted to mention the repetition of tens just to kind of drive home the point that you're kind of closing out a cycle here, and you know it. In this position, which is these cards here describe you. They describe the extension. These cards are an extension of the theme of the reading, of the heart of the matter. And here you have the Four of Wands reversed with the Eight of Crystals in the upright position. In this deck, the Four of Wands is called Aspiration, and the Eight of Crystals is called Synthesis. Now, being that the Four of Wands here is in the reverse position, this could again suggest to me that you are, deciding to leave your family home or leave your relationship. Being that the Four of Wands in the upright position represents that sort of stable, family, happy, married kind of environment, the home environment, the kind of family unit consolidation, right? Remember, you had in the first spread 3 fours. So this 4 coming up here again, but this time in the reverse position, suggests to me that you are, I said in the first reading that you had 3 fours and they were all upright, and it was kind of indicating that you're kind of in a bit of a holding pattern right now where you're just sort of like consolidating your energy and you are contemplating and considering what you have so that you can come to a decision soon and make a kind of thoughtful, strategic plan for the next steps that you're going to take. So this says to me, being that the 4 is in now the reverse position, describing your energy, it says to me that you are willing now to let go of that familiar, stable foundation because you know that it's no longer healthy for you and you're looking for something better in your life, for something greater. And even though you know it could generate a feeling of discomfort and ungroundedness and instability for a moment, you kind of know that that's what you need to do to move forward, to progress in your own life on your own personal journey of your spiritual growth. And the 4 of Wands here together with this card called Synthesis, which is the 8 of Crystals, it just says to me that you are in a position now where you are willing to walk away from that familiar, stable foundation of home, but you're not going to carry bitterness forward with you. You're going to use that situation as an opportunity for you to integrate a lot of lessons and to kind of walk away from the situation with some tools in your toolkit for you to grow and learn from. And that those experiences will become synthesized and integrated by you so that it won't have been for nothing, even though there may have been some trauma or difficulty in that environment. This says to me that you are going to carry those crystals forward with you and distill them into knowledge, as is kind of confirmed here by the crowning cards, and I'll get to that in a moment. And now in this quadrant here you have the 9 of Wands, which is called Integrity in this deck, and the 3 of Worlds, which is called Nurturing. These are really beautiful to see. You know, these cards describe, again, your environment. It could also be an extension of your energy. It could describe some people around you. But I feel for you in this reading that these cards are talking about how, you know, you are in this position now where, you know, the 9 of Wands in the traditional Rider-Waite deck is that image of like total exhaustion and frustration of having been in a situation that's difficult for a long time and kind of like just putting up with it and kind of continuing to just like manage it as best you can and deal with it. And seeing it come out here in this spread, in this position with the Nurturing card, the 3 of Worlds, that just says to me that you're at this point now where you know that it's time to take your energy back and make a decision that will be for your highest good. It says to me that you're in a position now where you are taking on more of the responsibility of self-love and self-care, and that by extracting yourself from an unhappy situation, you are affirming to yourself that you love yourself. You have self-love, you have self-care, and you know that you need to make decisions for yourself that will be for your own benefit, and you're not going to continue to put up with situations that are unhealthy for you, even though it seems like from all the external perspectives that that's the right thing to do. Because you know the right thing to do for you is to make sure that you are safe and healthy and taking care of yourself. So this is really beautiful to see in this spread. It gives me a lot of confidence in you because it seems to me like you are taking some more initiative to do the right thing for yourself and take steps forward that are empowering. In this position here, the recent past, or where you're coming into the reading from, you have this card called the 6 of Worlds in the reverse position. In this deck, it's called Synergy. Now, being that you had the 10 of Cups in reverse in the previous reading, this card kind of reflects to me again a little bit more of a similar energy where, you know, the 6 of Worlds in reverse, it could talk about like, being that it's called Synergy, it can talk about, you know, being together with other people and how, you know, the combined energy of individuals in a group kind of creates something much bigger and much more exponentially powerful. But seeing it here in the reverse position kind of says to me that the opposite has been the case for you, and that perhaps you've been in an environment, whether it's in your workplace or in your home life, in your relationship, where the synergy, you haven't been feeling the synergy for quite some time. Perhaps you feel like you've been putting in a lot more energy than the other people around you, and that's been leading you to feel like you've been taken advantage of, or that you feel drained, that your energy is being tapped, that you feel like your energy is leaking because you're giving too much and other people are are not contributing their fair share to actually create this synergy, which is the potential that's there, but it's actually not being met by the people in your close environment. So seeing it in the reverse position here and seeing it in the position of your recent past, it just says to me that, again, it's confirming that it feels like you are now taking the steps forward to remove yourself from that situation, from that environment, because you know it's not healthy for you anymore. So, kind of covered all the foundational cards, and we've kind of covered where you're coming into the reading from. Now we're going to look at these crowning cards at the top. You have in the center of the reading, in the position of your conscious mind, the Hierophant in reverse. Alongside of the Hierophant in reverse, in the position of your hopes and fears, we have the Sage of Cups in reverse with the Sage of Wands in the upright. Now the Sages in this deck, in the Voyager deck, for the court cards, what we have, instead of the Page, Knight, Queen and King, we have the Child, the Man, the Woman and the Sage. So in effect, the child card represents a kind of combined energy of the Page and the Knight. So it's kind of putting together those youthful and adolescent energies. And then the Man and Woman kind of reflect the King and the Queen. But what you have here in this deck is the Sage, which represents, again, a higher octave version or frequency of that element that it represents, being that those people, that energy has been mastered in that element. So seeing these cards here in the position of your hopes and fears, alongside with the Hierophant at the crowning card, this says to me that you are now really consciously and willingly embarking on a more dedicated journey towards your own healing, towards your personal growth, and to a more dedicated study path of mysticism and occult and other worldly studies that will help engage you much more in a more integrated dialogue with the universe. Because I feel like you're really feeling the call to go deeper, to uncover some of the magic and the secrets within you to transform your life. You know, you have the Death card here at the bottom, so that really is confirming to me, that says that you are looking to really, you know, step forward into your life and shed the past and all the baggage that you've been carrying, and move into a position in life where you are able to take more, access more understanding, and be, as I said, in a much closer dialogue with the universe, to kind of be more in touch with the inner voice, the guides, and the energies in the unseen world, and your own internal wisdom and knowledge. Again, the devil card here in the position of the outcome with the Hierophant. These cards are kind of saying to me that you're looking to undertake study and to take a more dedicated path towards learning and growth, whether that's with a mentor or otherwise. Perhaps you'll do some self-study. Otherwise, you may take on a teacher or a mentor, or look to kind of join some classes or participate in some kind of, like, whether it's group therapy or working with a counselor or a therapist, or you know, taking some kind of courses, or taking some study, meditation, or yoga, whatever. And seeing the Devil's card here in the position of the outcome, what this says to me is that you are overcoming some of your unhealthy habits and behaviors as you step forward on your healing journey. And seeing it in this position, along with the Hierophant, says to me that you are looking to be able to overcome your shadowy nature and your unhealthy behaviors and patterns, and that you're going to use that to help others in some way in the future, whether that's in the near future or in the distant future, as you are sort of unfolding your own inner wisdom. You know, there's a lot in you, Capricorn. I really see in these cards here that there's so much in you, and you know it. You know that you have a lot of wisdom and a lot of magic in you, and you are at this point now where you want to uncover those things, and you want to be around other people who are also dedicated to their own spiritual journey of uncovering their internal wisdom and mastery, because you want to help. That's what I see really clearly from all these cards here, is that you want to turn your experience into a distilled wisdom that you can then use to share with others, to help them on their growth forward as well. It's really beautiful. And then finally here in the position of the outcome, you have these two tens, as I mentioned earlier. And again, that kind of just says to me that you are really ready to grow. You're really ready to reach forward, to stretch yourself, to kind of challenge yourself into a much more dedicated and committed path of self-growth and self-discovery, of understanding the true nature of who you are, of accessing the internal wisdom and the internal mastery that's there within you that you just need to uncover. And as a result, you are going to have a much greater quality of life. You're going to experience a huge, exponentially accelerated growth in this next period of time as you really dedicate to this path. And there's a lot of gems that are in you that are ready to be uncovered, that you are ready to embody. I love it. And you know, the Ten of Pentacles here in this deck is called Reward, the Ten of Worlds, along with the Ten of Wands here in reverse. This says to me that you're ready to let go of the past. If you think about the image of the Ten of Wands in the Rider-Waite deck, it's that the image of the man carrying a bundle of sticks over his shoulder. Seeing it in the reverse here says that you are ready to put down that baggage. You're ready to kind of free yourself of the oppression of all those habits, all those things that you've learned along the way, whether it's from your you know, the things that you learned from your home environment, from your parents or whatever, or just your own habits that you've cultivated over the years, or your own kind of inconsistent thought patterns or unhealthy internal dialogue. And as a result, you're going to have a much greater quality of life, because the Ten of Worlds represents that sort of comfort in the material plane. And I mean, one thing it could suggest that is in the future, if you move into a teaching role yourself, that you could have quite a nice livelihood from it. But it's not really the point. The point is that you'll have a greater quality of life in your own entity, your own being. You're going to have much greater comfort and much greater stability as you work consistently towards letting go of these things of the past that have been holding you back from really experiencing the true bounty and the quality of life that's available to you here on Earth. Okay, Capricorn? Really, really beautiful reading. Again, as I said, you have to have at the bottom of the deck the Death card, which just really says to me that you are super duper extra ready to let go of the old you and totally transform and rise up into a new era of your being. And at the top of the deck you have the Magician. Super potent to see these two cards come together. And again, this just says there's a lot of support for you in the unseen world, that this says to me that your guides and your higher self is already super developed, and it's almost like they're just waiting for you to be ready to say, okay, I'm all in. And they're going to start feeding you information as soon as you start listening and opening up and cultivating a really grounded and consistent meditation and yoga practice. You're going to find that information is coming to you loud and clear, and you're going to get schooled. It's almost like you're going to get schooled directly from your own higher self and guides, and you may not even necessarily need to find a mentor to help you, because I really feel like your higher self and your guides are really, really close by. They're very highly evolved, and they're really, really ready to start communicating with you. They're just kind of waiting for you to kind of like set aside some distractions and move away from whatever unhealthy environment you've been in, whether that's your internal space or your external space, whether that's your relationships. It's almost like you are kind of looking at your life right now and seeing that maybe there's a little bit too much drama going on that's keeping you away from your true calling, which is right there. It's just so right there, ready for you to step into it as soon as you make yourself available to it. I love these four cards. Really, really beautiful. There is mastery within you, and so far it's mostly untapped. I'm super excited for you, Capricorn. I can't wait to see what goes on for you in the next coming months. That is your higher octave reading, Capricorn. Thank you so much for sending your energy over here. That was really beautiful to read, and I'm wishing you all the best. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was helpful. I hope it resonated with you. Please comment or send me a message if you have anything that you want to let me know about. I'm interested to know what's going on with you so that I can, you know, feel like I'm on the right track too. Okay? Sending you a lot of love. I'll put the link for the previous reading in the description box as well so that you can keep both of them together. And I would suggest that you watch them both again in a week's time, because you'll take different things from what I've said at different times depending on, you know, what events are unfolding for you in any given moment. So, yeah. I'll see you in the next cycle, Capricorn.